right, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I am Algo, and thanks for joining me on another morning watch list building session. All right, so still, man, I got my boom. Sorry, this is gonna suck, but it needs to happen for a second. Oh, dude. Sorry, but my boom is jacked up for the mic. I know that was really loud, and I apologize. Sorry about that. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. I am Algo, and thanks for joining me on another morning watch list building session. All right, I got to do one or two more little things here to get caught up. I'm a little behind. I apologize. And we will get going. Today's been a very interesting day. I think there's a lot of movement pre-market in tech, which could be bullish, but also we don't want to get head faked. So we're going to be super careful today. Yes, we are. Let me just yes, that's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. All right. Hope everybody had a great day yesterday. I know that Laz has been killing it on Etsy. Morning, Johnny. Morning, Cherry. And morning, Laz. Trying to get everything worked out here. I been working on getting some different charts set up, and that takes a lot of time. It also it's kind of a pain in the butt resetting everything, but it's for the best, right? We'll be able to get a lot more plays and get the most information to you as possible. There's our futures. All right, I'm just trying to figure out what's taking such a resource suck off of my my machine here. Okay, we've got a lot of news to get through, and if you're in the Discord, if you're in the Dark Pool Charts Discord, you're going to start seeing a bunch of changes coming through. One mainly is Dark Pool Charts himself is going to start being more prevalent in there. We are going to have a bunch of people start coming through in the next couple of weeks. If you're already in there, don't worry. We love you first. We love you long. We love you guys. I really appreciate y'all supporting us from the beginning, and any future stuff that comes through, you guys will be grandfathered in for free just because you provided support at the beginning. So if we blow up and become $1 billion company, you guys will be free. That's what we want. Not $1 billion, dude. I'm cool with $500,000 a year. That's the goal. 500,000 a year. That'll provide a good living for me and Dark Pool Charts. So we have some news today, and we do have some events. So those events, these are events that will affect the markets. We need to make sure that we pay attention to them. I may even have predicted trades come through as part of the stream. So he and I have been talking, and he's willing to come in and do a segment once or twice a week, probably from like the 8 o'clock to 8:30 hour. Is that right? Yeah, that sounds right. From 8 o'clock to 8:30 Eastern, he'll go over market conditions, some specific levels, and if he chooses, he can provide you guys with some free beast zone trades, right? Yeah, Laz knows what's up. He's been in the group for about a week now, and I think he's blank deep in Etsy right now. Like I did that, blank deep in Etsy. Also, just real quickly, I'm going to show you guys what I'm watching just now, so you can start pulling them up and looking at it on your own if you'd like. And I did not have enough time, so I straight up borrowed this from somebody. Yes, I completely agree with this whole sentiment, except for the puts for Facebook. I think I went deeper in the money on those. So if you want to take a screenshot of those, that's what my main focus is going to be. One, because I've got a stream for the bullish bears today. I have a stream open for them. It's a Zoom link. Unfortunately, it's not going to be broadcast to YouTube. So sorry, I can't do anything about it. Give me a couple weeks and I'll start figuring out a way to get you guys involved with that. And yeah, again, more streaming the opens is on the list of stuff to accomplish for this month. Oh, finally, Moderna. Oh my gosh. Why couldn't Moderna come out with these news earlier this week? Because I am stuck in some horrible calls. All right, let's get into the news. There is a bunch, and I'm just going to rattle through what I feel is the most important, and we're going to look at it from which chart do we want to look at? God, that's a clean looking chart. I love that chart right there. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Remember, we talked about US Steel earlier this week. If you would have got in at 23, you could have got in at 26. Okay, Discover. DISCA has some news coming out. They're upgraded to buy from neutral at Bank of America, raising its price target to 45 from 34. Little doji, possible pullback to support, right here at this point of control. Right. I always use orange as my point of control. I don't know why I deviated from that on this. Right. There we go. Okay. All right. So point of control for Discovery is right at 24 or 25.42. This is a pretty decent, like very easy to see move. Rejected the 34, broke through it. Now we got stacked positive moving averages. Mid compression squeeze released. Radiant fire released. Got an upgrade. Doji'd yesterday on the daily, so that could be either a continuation or a slight pullback to support. Point of control being at 25.43, currently trading at 26.19. I do like DISCA for move today. Right, look at that. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. There's that bat ear thing. Remember, I always talk about the bat ears, and you guys are like, "What the hell? What the heck are you talking about, Darkpool?" Let me show you what I'm talking about. Right? Yeah. Yo. All right. So these little bat wing ears right here, very bearish. Very, very bearish. Whenever you see that little move right there, you can expect pretty gnarly pullback. That's just something I found out over the years, especially with trading penny stocks. Okay. Discover. Let's see. Reset this chart. Look at that. Nice little move pre-market, right? Up and above. Oh. I need to color code these a little bit better. But on the, all right, so 4 hour pulled back right to the 21 EMA, daily Keltner channel top, 4 hour mid, right? So 2570 level support, ripped pre-market up to standard deviations, pulling back, pulled back. So use yesterday's highs as support at 2640. Right, for that next move up. Go ahead and target 28 or 27, 28. You could possibly target 29 on Discovery. With that upgrade, I think it should move pretty decent. Looks like a good move across the board. All right, morning Ludwig, morning. My head is in the way. In the way of what? Oh, again, dang it, my bad. Let me fix that real quick. Let me fix that. Head is in the, oh, of place. Oh, here we go. Is that better? Does that work? Johnny, are you good with that? Did you take a screenshot? I gotta get moving. Okay. All right. All right, so Samsung Electronics, SSNLF, had earnings, reported Q3 earnings of Q3 operating profit at about 13.8 trillion South Korean won, equivalent to about 11.4 billion for the quarter ending in December 31st. This compares with about 9.5 trillion won for the year earlier. Wow. The operating profit was below market expectations, but said the drop reflected a one-time bonus paid to employees. That's bananas. Anyway, don't trade Samsung. Look at this daily chart. This is the daily candle chart. Look at that. You don't see any candles. Like, is that just because? There you go. Beta, mo beta. It just doesn't move, right? So we're gonna skip that. T-Mobile. T-Mobile adds 1.2 million postpaid accounts in 2021, adds 5.5 million postpaid consumers in 2021. Preliminary Q4 postpaid net additions at about 1.84 million. Okay, that's pretty decent news off of earnings. They pulled right back into support. However, I think it's got a little bit more room to the downside. Bearish on T-Mobile, down to about 112. Right? If it cracks 112, it's got 109 incoming. Okay, so that's T-Mobile. QDEL, remember QDEL? We played this before. QDEL. QDEL. Right? Look at that move. So we're going to get a 5200 crossover, currently just chilling on the daily 4-hour bottom, consolidating below the 50, 34, 21, and 13. Double red across the board, so it's a very bearish position. Kind of a little bit of a elf foot there. Rounding double bottom. Pretty decent move yesterday. Resistance, support, popped up. All right, what happened? Some news came out. All right, so they had earnings. They guided for Q4 revenues at about 200 million above their estimate, right? They guided yearly revenue at about 1.695 billion versus 1.53. So they came out and they guided their revenues at almost 200 million above expectations. Very bullish for this stock. Is it enough to get it through this little jungle of resistance that's got going on here? Possibly. If you want to play it safe, you can wait till it gets above the 4-hour mid, or excuse me, gets up to the daily mid at 140. If it cracks 140, then you can play 140 up to 155, right? This is what that would look like, right? This is a very safe play, taking out previous highs, right? Very, very safe play. Okay. You're basically getting up above the weekly mid, right, out of the 4-hour top. So this is what that looks like. If you play in on 2, play 2, 3, 4, 5, right? In on the 2 move, play to 3. The safer move, you could play the 4 to the 5 move, okay? That's on QDEL. Pretty decent earnings, kind of neutral. If you contrarian, right? If the market does not like those earnings numbers, it's got room down to 126, 123, below 123. It's going to hit 120 and fall off the cliff. Okay. All right. Let me just reset all this stuff. Come on, sucker. All right. There's a bunch of other biotech news. I'm just going to use the names that we're used to playing. Johnson & Johnson announced new results from its largest study to date on the durability of its vaccines in the U.S., showing that a single shot of its vaccine resulted in the longest lasting protection for up to 6 months against breakthrough infections, hospitalizations, intensive care unit admissions. Okay, those are pretty decent numbers. Yesterday fell off a cliff. You know, the whole healthcare sector has been consolidating for the last couple of days. Right? It's been kind of taking a little bit of a beating. Johnson & Johnson's previous high at 173.51, double top on that. bull flag forming, stack positive moving averages, medium compression squeeze, gonna pull back, ready and fire. On the daily though, on the intraday, ready and fire is firing off. I don't like this double red, which means we're negatively stacked moving averages, but that news coming out should help J&J move up from 171, 172, 173. I've not traded this stock, so I don't know how the options chain trades, but it's right at support, 5,200. I mean, it's got bullish potential, right? Rally, it's pulled back to support, right? 1321.34, right at the 4-hour mid. You could play the 4-hour mid to 4-hour top. So 171.50 to 173.50, a little $2 move. Like I said, I don't know how the options move, but if you played it before, it should be ready to go. Moderna, finally got some news out on Moderna. Dude, my bad. I got so hoodwinked on this week. Like this move right here, like we had bullish divergence on the algo. I think it was going to crack and come back up. Instead, it reversed and it's fading off. It's currently found the bottom of the weekly Keltner channel, which is kind of unheard of. So this is like kind of a do or die area. This is the most support it's going to get, right down here at 2, right where it's at basically. So if this is a bear flag and we move down, there's going to be it's going to be a massive shot down to the weekly or monthly mid 196.95 and even further. However, a little bit of a slingshot squeeze reversal, ready and fires firing off. We have got negatively stacked moving averages. We are at that massive level of support. So weekly cloud, daily bottom, 4-hour bottom support. See how it couldn't really break through. We had a little bit of a flush, right? But then right back up. 215. Just call it 215 is support. If it breaks 215, 205 is incoming really quickly. Okay. If it breaks to the upside and gets above the 4-hour top, or excuse me, 4-hour bottom, you got to move to 226 and then 231. Moderna can move. It's got a really high ATR. That's why I chose it as one of my stocks to trade. Is this the reversal? Could it possibly be inverse head and shoulders? Like I said, if it breaks trendline resistance, right? It's got trendline resistance, right? I'll just call it this, right? If it can get out of that level there, right? It's got to fight its way up and through. The safe move, like I said, is safe move is probably above 220. Above 220 for a move to 226, 226 to 230, and then 230, excuse me, 226 to 231, 231, 233, right? At 233, it's either going to pop to 245 or it's going to reject and come back down. This is what that move looks like, right? It would be something like this. Oh, wrong tool. Why do I even have that out here? What the heck, dude? I don't even use that tool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's the longer term move right there. That's what this looks like here. Something like that. That's the upside move. If, like I said, if it cracks this support, might get a little bit of a tumble down. Right, that's a big move to the downside of Moderna. So it's kind of do or die time for it. Sorry, I spent a lot of time on Moderna. All right, moving into energy, industrials, and materials. A bunch of names that we've never even heard of reported earnings yesterday. Okay. The only one that I've even heard of, these are all like really small ones. RDS.A. RDS. Can't even show. Hold on. All right. So I know that this this stock had made the list for being at the daily Keltner channel top, and it had bullish divergence. I've never traded it, right? But it's definitely uptrending, stack positive moving averages. It's got a lot of bullish momentum. It came out and said that it will distribute the remaining 5.5 billion of proceeds from the sale of its Permian Basin assets in the U.S. through share buybacks. So this is in addition to the ordinary distributions of 20 to 30% of cash flow from operations. That production from its integrated gas division was hurt by unplanned maintenance in the fourth quarter. Bull flag breakout. You want to play it? I've never played it. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. All right, WWE. Yo, with the SmackDown. You guys remember WWE? Let's go. Announced that it had signed a multi-year exclusive licensing agreement with International Game Technology, PLC, IGT, right, to develop and distribute WWE branded omnichannel lottery games and turnkey promotional programs featuring company logos, superstars, events, and programs. So, that's pretty decent. WWD. You'd think that it would have a better track record, right? Anything that wicks like this, right? These 50-cent wicks, it's really hard to trade. Pulled back, finally got up, using the 200 to support, got the 50-day crossover, right? I don't even know what the ATR on this is, but you can see the stair step move back up to the upside. If it rejects the 50, it gets back below the 200, then we see the downside move, right? Inverse head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. Right. Safe move. Man, this thing has fell off a cliff, hasn't it? Jeez Louise. It was rallying up into November of last year. Then something happened and it sold off. 50% retracement. Held 47.50 and it's trying to work its way back up. I've never traded it. I know some people have traded it. It does move pretty decent. So if you want to trade WWE, come on. 4-hour mid is at 49.55 for a move to 51. Above 51.25. You got the 200 at 52.50, right? And they're the 50 at 250, 250. That's a lot of 50s. And then finally the 200. I think there's probably better plays out there. Starbucks, Starbuckies, been downgraded to sector perform from outperform at RBC Capital, saying risk reward is more balanced and sees less upside in shares in the near term given current valuation and its margin outlook. Trium's price target to 122 from 124. Starbucks has been getting hit pretty hard. This is a big cycle move, right? Wow, that's huge, right? 116 to 107, 107, $10 move, right? It's a 4-hour chart. And we're at the bottom of the cycle, right? So this right here, this move is very bearish. This is a very bearish candlestick pattern. Anytime you get one that looks like this, right? It's kind of bearish, don't you think? I would think so. I would be like, oh, wow, if that daily Keltner channel cloud cracks, it's coming down to the weekly. It's set a downward trend line that it wants to use as support, right? Something looks like this. So with the downgrade, right, with the very heavily weighted stock down to the downside, if it breaks, well, I already broke it. Okay, if it takes out the 5-minute bottom, next stop is previous low at 106.41. Right below that, you've got to move all the way down here to 104.46. Right. Can y'all see that? So Starbucks bearish. Get some puts. Oh, all right. WD-40 earnings at 1.34 versus 125, so it beat on earnings. Revenues rose 8%, reaffirms its 22 revenue EPS at 524 versus 530, raises top end of year revenue outlook to 522 million versus 5, up about 2 million. WD-40. Latham Group, 12 million secondary share offering at 1950. I've never even heard of them. Schwim, 1950. You know what happens, right? Offering, a bunch of volume comes in. Kira Sushi, Car Parts, and Price Smart. GameStop, boom. GameStop is rallying. GameStop shares are up 19% on a report the company is launching a division to develop a marketplace for non-fungible tokens and establish cryptocurrency partnerships, according to the Wall Street Journal. So this is this is reliable news. The retailer has hired more than 20 people to run the unit, which is building an online hub for buying, selling, and trading NFTs of virtual video game goods such as avatar outfits and weapons. That's huge. GameStop gonna rally McRow, right? Release the beast. Is it a short squeeze? I don't know, but GameStop's gonna be fun. So super volatility today in GameStop. Technically, you got a 200 at 185, a 50 at 180, right? There's your resistance, right? There's that 200. There's your 200 SMA, right? GameStop's going to be so volatile today. If you ever, how are we doing? All right, so bull flag breakout. That's what one looks like if you have not seen it before. Right. So giant bull flag, if it breaks out, it can rip. Right. So it's at 4 hour. So this 250, this 50-day, 200-day is 4 hour. The 4 hour Keltner channel mid, right? 148.11 is support. 150 or 160 first target. 173 second target. 204 third target. 234 fourth target. So 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up. Okay, moving on. In world news, the Fed daily sees rate hikes ahead, but says measured approach needed. U.S. labor market very strong. High inflation acting as repressive tax. Raising rates aggressively to offset high inflation won't solve supply chain problems, but will bridle the economy in a way that will mean less job creation down the road. Bullard pencils in 3 rate hikes, suggests that the Fed should start in March to be better positioned to control the inflation, and the Fed should go ahead with balance sheet runoff shortly after lifting off the policy rate. That's news, right? We've got some key events today. CES kicking off in Las Vegas. We love that. And no real earnings. We do have key events for today. Non-farm payroll in about 30 minutes. Private payroll in 30 minutes. Manufacturing payrolls. Unemployment rate for December. That's going to be a big one, right? And the rig count later on today. So remember we said we want to keep an eye on news that can affect the market. We'll check it out. We have some coming up right now, or excuse me, in about 30 minutes. Unemployment rate, expectations at 4.1. If it's lower, that's bullish, right? And as long as these numbers right here can continue to either stay the same or come down or increase, right? So we want non-farm employment to change. We want employment to go up. We want unemployment to go down, right? We want the unemployment rate to either stay the same or go down. And we want the employment change to be up a little bit. So we're going to keep an eye on that kind of stuff there. And then finally, the U.S. futures are edging higher after Europe and Asia was mostly mixed to little change ahead of the ahead of the all-important monthly job figures in the U.S. Non-farm payroll reports at 8:30 could be market moving. Recall the ADP private payroll report on Wednesday came in double of what expectations were, further raising expectations the Fed will remain on track for faster rate hikes and to conclude asset tapering by March 1st. Oil prices are set for a third weekly advance as market tightens on outages as WTI crude reclaims at $80 per barrel, right? Remember I said we don't want crude to be making too much of a move, right? Crude can fall on its face for all I'm concerned, okay? In Asian markets, the Nikkei index slipped 9 points. Shanghai dipped -6 points. Hang Seng jumped 420 points. And in Europe, the DAX is down about 20 points. FTSE little changed. Crypto assets will extend their decline to start January with Bitcoin down 2%. Yo. That's I don't have a crypto chart, do I? Okay, what have we been learning? Support and resistance. Where's Bitcoin at? What is this? This is a head and shoulders on the daily. What is Bitcoin going to do? It's got one last little level. It's got one last little demand zone that runs approximately, well, there's two of them really. There's this one right below that, and I think we see some pretty significant flushing. And then we've got, that would be the demand, and we've got a supply zone basically here. So two different zones. Okay, so we're currently at that support. So if Bitcoin cracks, if it cracks 40,000, well, 40,500, right? You can see a quick move back down to 37,550. Below that, it gets real sketchy down to 32,000, right? If you want Bitcoin to fall down on its face and hurt itself, now is the time. Now is the time. Downside targets on Bitcoin. Okay. The other thing that they're saying is there's a possibility of, with this longer term trend line support being broken, right? It doesn't really make sense. Like that trend line isn't really there. Come on. Like magnets are good sometimes, but sometimes they really suck. could be the bounce of all bounces at 38. 38,421, right? You could possibly anticipate at least a rally back up to create the left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So rally to back up to create the right shoulder. And if that's the case, the neckline is pretty much right here, and you could short Bitcoin to zero. Would I be mad if Bitcoin came back down to 44,000? Nope, not at all. I'd buy a bunch of it. Okay. And then let's see. So Bitcoin's down 2%. Ethereum tumbles 6%, right? And stocks ended lower on Thursday after swinging between gains and losses as investors reassess valuations following the Fed Reserve's latest signal that it will move aggressively if prices remain elevated, right? So they're saying, yo, you can bring it down yourself or we can drop it. FOMC member Daly and Bullard both commented on stubbornly high inflation. Treasuries continue to sell off with the 10-year rate near 1.73, and the dollar was marginally higher. Okay, so obviously Ethereum, it's trying to fall off a cliff as well. All right, so we're going to get into some futures. I'm going to take a 5-minute break real quick, and then please get me your plays. Let's see. I'm going to leave this up and put it on the 2-minute. Reset that crude chart. Should I do the 5-minute? Let's do the 5-minute. Oh, rounded top on NQ. Not liking it. Come back to Earth. Let's go. Come back down in here. Right. Form that inverse head and shoulders. So similar. Need this yen to continue to drop, bonds to continue to sell off. We need crude to reject this level here and gold to continue to fall. Yes, so I need just a couple moments to go grab some water and a drink, and I will be right back. Sorry. Water break. 8. 14. Yo. All right, let's get it. All right, checking the list. All right, as far as futures are concerned, I'm going to go through these super quick. So yesterday we had a nice little doji. We closed barely, slightly above the 618 retracement. Still below that 4,700 level on the ES. Going into today, we're either going to be creating a bull flag or a bear flag to the downside, or we can see some continued movement. Looking at it on the 5-minute chart, so overnight. So into the close, we immediately sold off, found some support, and we came back right up to that 4,700 level, very key level. What I'd like is to see a little bit more pullback to the 618. If the 618 holds, which is at 46.8750, if that level holds, I see us moving back up towards 4,700 and potentially breaking it today, right? Contrarian, if we crack that 618, I think we can come back down and test pre-market lows, right? Which is at 46.7875. Below that, we see a flush all the way down to 46.62. Okay. Moving on to NQ. NQ on the daily. We had that doji. We closed slightly higher yesterday. If this is a reversal, we still got that 15,912 target. Actually, that's a little off. My bad. 15,882. We get above that, I think we could see a pretty significant move up to 16,000, above 16,000, and then we jump to about 16,200. Contrarian, if we reject that level here, I think we see a larger pullback to about let's put some key levels on here, shall we? $15,991, and I don't believe that. Let's try. All right, we see the move to the downside. There's a zone right there. Looking at it overnight. Same deal, right? We close on the downside, immediately sold off, and have been trying to get back above. Sorry, I'm just, there we go. Kind of range bound ISK. Build support. Unfortunately, we have kind of a downward trend in the NQ. And we have, oh, come on. Dude, that's so tight. Hold on. NQ. I mean, it's not looking the greatest for NQ, to be honest with you. If we were to open, at lows, right? Let's do this. Let's do this, shall we? Yeah, I'm having a hard time creating a bull case for NQ, to be honest with you. Other than we traded 2 standard deviations, we got to break our overhead resistance, and then we get a quick run up to 16,000, above 16,000. We got 16,143. I feel like we might be creating a little bit of a bear flag here. So continue to chop on the NQ. We really need it to give us a specific direction. Lowered volume, pretty decent volume yesterday. Actually, lowered volume. Yeah, that was yesterday. Pretty decent volume yesterday. NQ's not looking the greatest. Really not. All right, moving on. I'm gonna come back to the NQ in a minute. Looking at the Dow, while the Dow has been pretty, the Dow was kind of making a pretty big move going into last week. This week's a different story, right? We have pulled back, right? Did not reverse, kind of closed flat yesterday, right? Actually closed slightly down. If we break on the Dow, we've got, where's that support? So if we continue to break this support at 36,066, we've got 35,778 incoming. Below that, it gets pretty heavy into the downside. Okay, looking at it on the 15-minute chart. Right, it is not making higher highs and higher lows. Right, it's actually made a lower low. Pretty sketchy to be honest with you. So we've got to, like, I'll come back and look at the Dow when it can get above that level there. Okay, moving on. The old Russell, what's going on with the Russell? More choppy McChop on the Russell. Yesterday's doji was actually bullish. Currently trying to make a higher high. So it's just so choppy. Small caps today, I would look for a move up to about 2233. And then targeting the 200 SMA on the daily, so that move up to here. Above here, I think we can attack this trend line. Definitely forming a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders here on the daily. Looking at it on the 15, we've got, what did it do? So rallied, pulled back to the close, fell off, rallied up, hit some overhead resistance there, right? There's probably a bunch of buyer or a bunch of sellers right in here, and then it's pulling back, right? If we take out pre-market LOD, right, then I think we see a pretty significant pullback. Contrarian, if we take out pre-market HOD, right, as long as we don't range bound, I think that Russell's pretty bearish, y'all. We're gonna keep an eye on it for excuse me, we're gonna keep an eye on it and see. So I know it's a big range, but I feel like we get a little bit of a downside move. So if we open up anywhere down in here, I think we can get a rally. If we open up anywhere up in here, I think we get a fade. Okay, that's Russell. All right, so gold. All right, so those numbers are going to be coming out here really quickly. Gold is currently it's making higher lows and it's not making higher highs, so it's creating a little bit of a wedge on gold. And crude's making higher lows and higher highs. It's currently trading right at its mean, so above that it gets to be pretty bullish up to 80, 82, 84, 86, looking to target 86. If it rejects this level and starts pulling back, then I think we can get some pretty good movement to the downside. But so far it's pretty bullish. Looking at bonds, this is important. So we'll take a second to look at bonds. Currently bonds are selling off, which is what we want to see, right? We want to see this continued move To the downside, however, it is coming up on support. If the 10-year breaks this trend line at 155.16, it can come back down to 155.15, which would be super bullish for the ES. We would like to see that move happen. If it rejects, it's got immediate overhead resistance at 157. Possibly get one of these kind of moves here. I would like to see this. Like to see one of these moves, right? That would be very bullish for the market. All right. Okay, that was it for the futures. I'm going to get into the plays real quick. I'm going to try to be done really quickly because I want to go over some specific plays. ES currently pulled back right back to that 1618. Oh, the yen. The yen's actually trying to make a little bit of a reversal, so that inverse head and shoulders played out, and now it's just trying to continue to move back up. We want this to fail and continue to move. We want it to fall back down, right? Okay, that's 618. That 618 level is 47 or 46.8750 on the ES. I have not pulled one up on the NQ yet, which I should probably do, but I need to move into other stuff. Okay, moving on. Crab, apples, Bodilicious, bitter fruits. Ear, hold for halt. What is ear? Okay, so it's a penny stock, right? Big rally yesterday, right? It's continuing to hold its uptrend. It's just kind of chilling between 714 and 775. You want to play this above 775 for a quick move up to 8 or 9. I don't see it really going much like parabooming, but it's kind of forming a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders right now. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Give it a couple more days. Okay. All right, what do we got here? So DraftKings. Right up into resistance. I mean, I'm not going to buy into this until it forms the right shoulder and gets back above the weekly. It gets back into the weekly, so above 35. Also, I mean, you can set an alert for DraftKings above 35, then it can be, it can be uptrending again, but currently it's just selling off, right? 50 all the way down to 25. Yeah, that's a very bearish stock in my opinion. And Caesars. Maybe a little rounding bottom, but kind of the same deal, right? We have a 5200 death cross that occurred 2 weeks ago, currently trading at the daily bottom, 4-hour bottom. Right? It's trying to make a move back up. I get that. So 1, 2, so out of the 4-hour top, so above 86.84, right? Got resistance of the 13 at 88, 89.25, 90 is your target. Above 90, you're going to hit 94, 95, 96. Okay. All right. Let's get into the plays. Tesla, Amazon, Facebook, MasterCard, IP, and FSLR. Who was here first? Johnny, what do you got? Tesla, Amazon, Facebook, IP, FSLR. Oh, there it is, Johnny. NVIDIA, BA, and Facebook. Got you. All right, so the chart you're about to see is the smart money dark pool and block trade algorithm software provided by FlowTrade. It tracks large institutional hedge funds purchases, smart money dark pools, block trades, those big flows that you see coming in. That's what it tracks. Okay, it's created its own algorithm called the flow index. And what we like to see with the flow index is we like to see divergences occur. What that means is we'd like to see where this purple line, which is the flow index normal algorithm, is deviated from these white bars, which are price action. So with CrowdStrike yesterday, right, this was yesterday's move. CrowdStrike was the only one that was up, and the algo was at a low. I was like, well, CrowdStrike is the only stock that's really got a lot of bullish divergence. Well, if you'd played CrowdStrike from 175 to 190 yesterday, congratulations, you made some money, right? That's the type of move we like to see. It's like kind of the same little deal with Facebook. Facebook's created some bullish divergence, right? Where I feel like Facebook, if it breaks support levels, it's going to come back down, right? This was just a real quick move to overhead resistance yesterday. It's still a downtrending stock. The algo is still selling off. Same with Apple, right? The Apple had bearish divergence going into yesterday, right? What did it do? It pulled back. So the algo's trying to find some support with Apple, but until it creates divergence, I'm going to stay away from Apple. Facebook, I wish I would have looked at this earlier. I've got some Facebook plays up, looking at the 337.50s off of this support. However, what I did not realize was that there's this pretty significant overhead resistance that Facebook is definitely respecting, right? Rejected. Didn't quite make it. Rejected. Does it come down and make a lower low, right? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Facebook does have some support at these key levels here, right? At this level here. So on Facebook, all the pretty colored fibs. All right. So it looks to be forming a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders, right? Decreasing histogram, decreasing iridium fire. We have earnings coming up on the beginning of next month. The daily cloud. We close below the daily cloud, right? These are very key levels. So if it can't get back into the cloud and rally above point of control at 335, which it's doing pre-market, right? So it's making its move. It does have that overhead resistance it's got to get rid of, right? It's pretty gnarly. And it's respected it. So I'm looking for if to go long on Facebook, right? We would want to see kind of like this kind of move here, right? We have to get above point of control, and I would say above 3. It's tough. Above 337 for that move. Okay, that would require, instead of the histogram curling around and creating a slingshot, it would be one of these moves right here where it comes back down and then it bounces. So we would expect that kind of a move there. That doesn't really help. Maybe this will do it. Doesn't really help either. So see how the histogram is falling? We'd like that squeeze to fire along, right? It's going to be tough for Facebook to do that. Good move yesterday, right up to 250 SMA. They're trading right close to each other. It held up, making higher lows and higher highs pre-market. It's definitely consolidating. Is this a giant bull flag? Right? Like I said, I would feel more comfortable trading Facebook above 37. So for, well, 4-hour mid. So we can get the 4-hour mid, 4-hour top, right? 4-hour slingshot squeeze, radiant fire. It could very easily, just as easily. So we've got reject the 34.21 and move to the downside, right? We have a 50. There's we're squeezing, right? We're compressing. Moving averages are coming together. Simple moving averages are convening with exponential moving averages, forming a squeeze, right? Starting to get a lot of pressure in here. Does it pop to the upside, right? Or does it come back down? The algo is still selling, right? The algo is still selling off, so that would lead me, I would be a little lean bearish on Facebook. But I do have the Facebook calls up today. So above 337, I think we'll make a move to about 340, 343. If we reject, right? If we reject the 336 is really that key level. So above 336 long, below 336, I think we either chop to 332 or we pull back 327, right? Facebook's just got that kind of range. All right, moving on. Where's Johnny's stuff at? All right, NVIDIA. I like VIDI. Didn't get to play VIDI yesterday, which I'm a little upset about. I can't even type VA in here. It knows how much I hate VA. So I went through Facebook, we'll do NVIDIA. Terry wants to look at Tesla. Kilo wants to look at Amazon. Ed, I will get IP and FSLR on the next round. And yes, AMD. I'm interested in AMD as well today. Okay. VIDI. VIDI still has that bearish divergence. But if you look, it's really hard to see. But this algo is kind of curling around, right? It's flat. So does it reverse here and start moving to the upside? I mean, NVIDIA's got some trendline support, a little bit of overhead resistance, right? Kind of creating its own little wedge. All right. There's this trading zone that runs from here up to here. That's the move we want to play. We want to play 285 to 295. All right, come on. So if the algo does bounce, it can pull price action back up with it, but it's kind of rounding bottom from block trade perspective. Yo, I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it does not like BA. I might have to use the other algo. All right, nice little move right up through those dark pool levels. Currently, dark pool clusters that runs 281, 281. So from 281.25 to 282.22. So that little dollar range is all dark pool trades. If they're buy orders, then that's going to be super bullish. And we can target 286 and then 288 regular block trade, right? So there's your upside targets. If it pulls back, 279.15 is support. Below that, 277.19, and finally 276. Below 276, pretty quick move back down to 270. But I like this bull flag that it's forming, right? It is making higher lows and higher highs. Just see what happens with it today. I don't know what happened with BA, but it doesn't like it. The Tesseract. So Tesla finally filled its gap, right? There was a pretty big gap right here that needed to be filled. Came down, filled that gap, and is... Come on. What's it doing? It looks like it's making higher lows and higher highs. Come on. Come on. Eh. So let's look down here at the algo. It's really subtle, but the algo has made a higher high and a higher low. So see what it's doing. It's really subtle. It's right. If it can get out of its consolidating range right here and rip up, then I think it can pull price action back up with it, right? Tesla's at a key level of support. This 1060 level, right? Psychological is 1050, but Tesla's level is 1061. Okay. Let's see. What does it do here? It is currently in a range. So if it can get out of this trading range that it's in a zone right now. It needs to pop either to the top or to the bottom. What the worst thing that could happen would it be just continue to sit here and chop, right? From a block trade perspective. Hold on for me for 1 sec. Sorry about that. I mean, so I was talking about Tesla. So we've got some regular block trade at 1075, bunch of dark pulls at 10 that run 1064 to 1070. We've got a dark pull target at 1088. So if it can get out of that little cluster, it's got a bunch of previous regular and dark pulls as magnets at the 1133. Got a white line level at 1144 or 1150. So white line level 1150 really needs to get above 1088. Above 1088, I think we get a breakout and a rally up to 1133. If we crack and break down below 1060, is that the lowest one? 1064, 1060. Below 1060, I think we pull back to 1,000. Okay. Amazon. So Amazon, what's going on with Amazon? So price trading with price. So we had that bullish divergence, price trading with price action. Looks like we came down and we found some support. I'm super bullish on Amazon, but just not today. I think that we're going to get a nice recovery. The algo has came down, found support, and it's trying to get out of this little range that it's in, right? It's making higher lows and higher highs. Price action is kind of making higher lows and higher highs. I mean, it's still pretty weak. Kind of an H shape pattern instead of a W, right? I'd like to see more of an H or a W shape, but this kind of a rounding top. Amazon notoriously sells off on Fridays, so does Amazon continue its trend and come back down on Friday so that it can rip next week? It's got room. I mean, it's got room down to if it takes out 32.37, I think it can come back down to 3,200 or 31. So just call it 3,200 for that bounce play. Histogram is negative and increasing. Radiant fires pointing to the downside. Very heavy below the 200, below the 50. Like, I'm looking for a bigger pullback, maybe just a little bit more to the downside. If not, it's kind of at a key zone. There's definitely a demand zone that runs right through it. Right, it's at the daily bottom, trying to fight back up into the 4 hour. Right, if it can clear yesterday's high, then I get super bullish. So 32.9765 for a move to 33.28 and possibly 33.73. However, I mean, it's just been chopping for the last couple days, or the last couple hours. Why wouldn't it continue? High compression squeezes, radiating fires, getting ready to fire off on the intraday. Looking at the larger picture, the 4 hour. Right, it's just resting on that daily bottom. So does it chop and then make this move next week, or does it try to make a rally up to 33.80? I would be suspicious of it until it cracks 3,300 on Amazon. Okay. All right. Tomorrow? What do you mean tomorrow? Oh, we'll get some stuff going on. BA still isn't pulling up, and I'm going to look at AMD. Coin. FSLR. And IP. Okay, I got to go wake up the kids. I will be right back. Give me 1 second. Whoa, what was that? All right, sorry about that. Did unemployment just drop? Let's check Forex Factory. Let's see what we got here. Is that really up 54,000? 5.9% unemployment. Average hourly earnings up. Non-farm payroll. Non-farm employment change. Ooh. Down. Unemployment rate 3.9%. So mixed across the board. The futures, see how they reacted to that. Did not like that news whatsoever. Okay, so the news came out. It got digested. If it comes up and can get back up above the 618, then I think we're bullish for the day. If it rejects here and moves down, should be interesting move for the day. News came out, we sold off. It's starting to digest the news a little bit and possibly move back up and through. So a healthy move would be this. So this would be healthy. Right? That would be a healthy move. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, let me get through these changes, and then I've got to mark some stuff up. All right, so AMD rounding bottom. Algo is consolidating. It's kind of tough in that it's not really giving us a clear direction, just kind of consolidating, right? Hasn't made higher lows or higher highs yet, but it did it break its over? It's just an ugly position, no clear direction on AMD. However, I do like possible move to the upside today if we can get out and above some of those levels there. I do like the 140, like the 138 calls. Those can fill all the way up to 141, obviously. To the downside, 130 puts, right? If it breaks this little wedge. Block trades. Got a white line on NVIDIA, 136.15, 136.20, right? Key level support and resistance there. Chart tool's not the greatest. So if it rejects there, it can come to the downside. If it can close back above it, we've got an upside target 139.95, 142, 143. Those are regular block trades on the upside. The downside, we would just target previous support, right? 133, 132, 130. Coinbase. Divergence is played out. The Algo is kind of forming a little bit of a wedge here. If the Algo is forming a bear flag, right? Expect a continued move to the downside. Coin does move with Bitcoin. Remember how Bitcoin's down pretty heavily. Coin is coming up into some overhead resistance from previous lows, which is here. A little bit of a range. Oh, come on. So definitely a little bit of a range. Coin can break above there. I think it can pull up. However, the Algo looks to be forming a bear flag, right? We've got regular block trade target at 238.05. If it hits that, then we can look at these dark pool, 240, 243, 245, 250. Currently resting at a dark pool level of 234.23. If it rejects 238.05, then I think we see a downside move, and that bear flag would fire off to the downside. Yeah, coin, pretty interesting. FSLR. So it's been trading with price action. We finally got some bullish movement on the algorithm. So the algo is finally pointed up, and looks like we're trying to break out of this little okay. So the algo is making higher lows and higher highs. I expect it to break through price action and continue to move to the upside. However, if it comes up to previous resistance and pulls back, you can expect price action to go along with it, since it is trading with price action. We have a dark pool target at 88 and then 93. I think all of these orders have been fulfilled. Let's look at the last 5 days. Probably not a whole lot coming in. Yeah, so it's purely a price action play. As long as price action continues to make higher lows and higher highs, the algo should pull it up with it. IP, bearish divergence, right? I fully anticipate once the stock breaks its trendline support, right, then it will come back and gap fill to the downside. Wolf wave, my bad. Right? The algo has been net selling and it's still continuing to sell from this divergence point here. Right? That divergence is going to need to play out, so I pull back to 47, right? Then maybe play the bounce play from 47. All right. Thanks for joining me. I am Darkpool Algo. Let's look at the numbers one more time, and then I got to run. The reason I'm cutting it short today is I got to go stream for the bullish bears and stream the open. Like I said, a healthy move would be, you know, this kind of a move here, but it's right. It's kind of got to start to reverse now, right? We'll give it another couple minutes. If that happens, I think we're gonna be bullish throughout the day. Look for the Wu-Tang reversals across the board, right? Not just there. I could draw one on every single futures chart. I would be interested in, you know, taking some futures on the break of the number 2 point, right? On the break of number 2, you don't try to catch the bottom of 3. You want to take it on the break of 2. I talk about Wu-Tang reversals all the time. This is my favorite pattern to play. But you take it on the break of 2, right? Break of 2, not at the 3 point, because it can easily reverse. Wu-Tang reversals across the board. All right, I'm out. Thanks for joining me. I'm Darkpool Algo. I think we're going to be pretty bullish today. Look for that Wu-Tang pattern reversal across the board. And let me just scream it in the other rooms so that everybody knows what I'm talking about. Okay. Wu-Tang reversals across the board on futures. Okay, so this is why you don't take it off the 3. If the 3 doesn't hold and it cracks, and you've got a very bearish move to the downside, right? If it can get above the 2, then it's bullish. All right, I'm out. Thanks for joining me. Darkpool Algo. I've got to get some stuff set up and have a great one. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to do a recap. Laz, are you busy tomorrow? Do you want to do a joint? You want to do like an interview, joint stream test with me? Text me if you do. We'll figure something out. Have a good one. Stay safe, stay green. Keep an eye on this W reversal.